You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. Now, I had absolutely no intention, absolutely none. I had no intention to do videos on two particular subjects that's swirling around the news. One had to do with that foolishness with the government shutdown and how they're talking about, well, if this government shutdown continues, how this is going to affect food stamps and the like. And I've seen a lot of videos of individuals who have bought into the narrative that they actually believe black people are poor. I mean, I look at those videos and I chuckle to myself because I know for a fact black people are not poor. When I look at you Negroes and I see y'all walking around with the latest iPhone stuck to your ear, and you walking around in the latest pair of Air Jordans, every time one comes out, you stand in line to get them, riding around on chrome, 60-inch chrome rim. I know you Negroes aren't poor. So I don't even, I'm beyond that narrative. That's why I wasn't going to do a video on it. And the other subject that's swirling in the news that I refused to do, I had refused to do a video on, rather, was this R. Kelly piece. I wasn't going to do no video on it. And when I seen the documentary, I'm looking at it, and I've seen all the videos that people are producing, and I said, I'm not going to touch this. But then something began to happen that left me no other alternative. And that was what I have deemed as the selective outrage amongst black people, but particularly black women. And I'm looking at this selective outrage over R. Kelly. Oh my goodness, can you believe this? This is a travesty. Oh, he is a sexual deviant. And everybody got something to say about that documentary. And I wasn't going to touch it until that selective outrage and the overt hypocrisy surrounding that outrage left me with no other alternative but to do two things. One is to address this in the whole, which y'all know I'm going to have to do an unedited, unscripted, straight down the center of the plate commentary. You know what it is, second nature like breathing. You want the R. Kelly commentary, R. Kelly and black women commentary, rather, because that's what it's going to be. Just send me an email, I'll send you the link. But because of that selective outrage, I was left with no other alternative but to address this. And I'm going to explain to y'all in this video. And again, this is the politically correct version of what you know you're going to get in the hole. You know the hole is going to be a lot rougher. But I'm looking at black people, and particularly black women, and they're talking about this R. Kelly piece. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this Negro, he missed it again. He missed it again. And this actually, and you've seen the title of the video, this actually could serve as an I told you so video, because I did indeed tell y'all. I've done videos on Tarana Burke and the Me Too movement. And if you go back and look at those videos, I told y'all what the original intent of the organization was from their own website. I showed y'all that in the video. And then I explained to y'all how it had been hijacked. Hollywood liberals indeed hijacked the Me Too movement. Then you had black women complaining that the Me Too movement was too white. And they said, we want the Me Too movement to go back to its original origin, what it was originally founded for. And I tried to warn you black men, listen, when you hear a black woman saying, I want the Me Too movement to go back to its original intent, what she is saying is, I want that movement to target you. And when I say you, I'm talking about you as a black man. Because that's what the original origin of the movement was. Go back and read it. What did Tarana Burke say? She started this Me Too for low-income, poor black women who were victims of sexual assault, sexual abuse, to give them a voice. That's what she started the movement for. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but your Bill O'Reillys, your Harvey Weinsteins, those executives at Fox News and CBS, Bill Maher, and we can go on down the list. None of those guys were dealing with women in the hood. So when Tarana Burke and her ilk say we want the Me Too movement to go back to its origin and to deal with poor women who are victims of sexual assault, who are sexually assaulting these black women? You are. They want the movement to target you. So this whole R. Kelly piece didn't come as a surprise to me. I told y'all this was coming down the pipe. But yet it's still the selective outrage. We're going to deal with that a little bit later. And I'm sitting back and I'm looking at all this selective outrage and how these Negroes are up in arms over, my goodness, I can't believe this. Why, this is a travesty. How could he do this? He's a monster. And I'm sitting back chuckling. And the reason why I find that to be comical is because the two biggest sexual deviants in the black community running neck and neck is the black pastor and R. Kelly. And what I find to be most comical is that both of these individuals are supported by who? Black women. Can't get around this one. Y'all can't get around this one. You can't say this is hate speech. You can't say that this is cyberbullying. You can't say that this is, you harass. No, this is telling the truth. The two biggest supporters, or the supporters of the two biggest sexual deviants in the black community, R. Kelly, black preachers, supported by who? Black women. Can't get around it. That's a fact. And this is the reason why I find it most comical with you black men. I don't understand it. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, it's paranormal activity. It's something that the X-Files should investigate. How you black men are so quick to go in on another black male. Y'all quick to do that shit. Y'all love to do that shit. Y'all enjoy it. I believe some of y'all get an erection while doing that shit. I really do. But for some odd reason, the one whose hypocrisy is blatant for the whole world to see, y'all can't address this cat. I'm talking about that black preacher. And the brother will say, well, the preacher, he is exploiting black women, and I don't care about black women, so I don't care what he's doing with them. Okay, that's good. That's a good argument. until you find out that the women that he's exploiting is also black women in your family. The mothers that he's manipulating is your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your aunts, your girlfriends, and your wives. He's doing all that to them too. And you black men still can't step to him. For some odd reason, nobody will make videos about this dude. And when I say some odd reason, that's rhetorical and I'm being, comical, because we all know the reason. And that's the reason why I call the outrage over R. Kelly selective outrage, because y'all cannot be pissed at R. Kelly and not be pissed at this black preacher. Are you serious? Do you really want me to take that outrage serious? You want me to believe that you are just so distraught over the R. Kelly documentary? Oh my goodness. Did you see that? Oh my God, I can't believe this. And y'all so up in arms over this R. Kelly documentary, but you're not up in arms over the black pastor. And the black pastor is every bit the deviant, if not more. And actually, he's worse. Why is he worse? Because he said God called him to preach. So that makes his deviancy worse. But yet and still, y'all so up in arms. All these black women, they sitting there in that documentary and they can't even talk. The one woman got so upset she had to get up and leave. I can't sit here and talk about it. The memory is it upsets me too much. I can't discuss it. They hand her a tissue, she wipes her eyes, and she gets up and leaves. She can't handle it. And y'all sitting there watching this shit, and y'all crying too because y'all can't believe this. Oh my goodness, I can't believe R. Kelly would do this. Why not? Why not? Based on what we know from R. Kelly. Why not? Why did this surprise y'all? Why? Why are you shocked over what you heard in exposing R. Kelly? Why does that surprise you based upon this man's history? And here's what black women do not want to accept. They don't want to accept this. And y'all won't hold their feet to the fire on this. After the notorious urinating video, I believe it was what, in the 90s or early 2000s, whenever that came out. After that video, where R. Kelly, because that was him, that was R. Kelly, in that video, urinating in the mouth of that young girl, y'all remember that? After that video, somebody's trying to get in contact with me, interrupting my ticket. Okay, let me get back to my point. Okay, back to R. Kelly. After the urinating video, any black female who would give R. Kelly the time of day after that video came out, you don't have one word to say now. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the reason why I don't want to hear anything you have to say now is because you knew what it was and you chose to get involved with him anyway. And since you knew what he was and you chose to still get involved with him, this makes you a co-conspirator. This makes you an enabler of his deviancy. Because you know he's deviant, you know he's dysfunctional, and you're still dealing with him. So don't come crying in no documentary now. I don't want to hear it. That's why I wasn't going to do no video on it. And the only reason why I'm doing this video is because of the hypocrisy and the selective outrage. It's no different. It's no different if you have a father and a mother. And let's say they have a daughter. Let's say they have 3 daughters. Let's say they have 10 daughters. And the father is sexually abusing, sexually molesting one of those daughters. When it becomes known, you know they're going to prosecute that father. He's done. He's a done deal. But they're also going to look at the mother. And what that prosecutor is going to want to know is, what did the mother know and when did she know it? Because if the mother knew that the father is molesting this child, they're going to prosecute that mother too. Now, they may not prosecute her for what they prosecuted the father for, but they're going to get her on something. If she knew and done nothing. Now, if it comes that she didn't know, she was in the dark, I didn't know what he was doing, then okay, whatever. You free to go. But if it becomes known that the mother knew the father was molesting that girl and she chose to do nothing, they are going to prosecute that mother as well. Why? Because she is a co-conspirator. She is complicit. She is an enabler. And that's what you black women are when y'all deal with the deviancy of an R. Kelly or a black preacher. You are complicit. You are just as guilty. So don't come crying now about no video. Oh, I'm crying because, oh my goodness, he did this to me. Get the hell out of here. Not buying it. You were complicit. And this is what no one wants to address when it comes down to not only R. Kelly, but this black preacher. And it becomes so comical that y'all get this dude a pass. But yet you willing to argue and fuss with other black men. But the biggest sexual predator, the biggest sexual deviant, the biggest manipulator, the biggest liar, the biggest thief, the original Uncle Tom, the original sellout, Benedict Arnold, Judas Brutus, that black preacher, y'all give him a pass. And that's the reason why I can't take you black men serious. I just can't. I can't take you serious when you telling me that you love black people and you love black men, and you won't say one word about this Negro, and then your excuse is, well, I don't care what he does with black women. I don't care about black women. Yeah, but the black women that he's also doing that to is your mother. Women in your family. And I've told brothers, if you got a girlfriend or a fiance or a wife, and she's attractive and she going to church, I guarantee you that preacher's trying to hit on her. She may not come back and tell you that, but he's trying to hit that if he hasn't already hit it. And then let you know how shady these Negroes are, is that he will sleep with your fiance, your girlfriend, and then he will, or your wife, and he will stand up and marry y'all. You will stand before this very same degenerate exchanging vows, or you will sit in his office being counseled by this dude. You're a fool. This is the reason why I listen, I'm not going to do no video. I'm not talking about this. This is utter hypocrisy. You Negroes can't be that upset. Y'all can't be that outraged over this R. Kelly foolishness. And you don't have a problem with that black preacher. I just don't understand that. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Especially when you take into consideration that the majority of women who got involved with R. Kelly knew what he was and got involved with him anyway. That's the reason why, and I told y'all this in my videos, that's the reason why when I deal with black women, I tell them up front what I am. I tell them up front where I stand, where I'm coming from. They know. No black woman will be able to say to me, you hid how you really felt to me. No, I'm telling you up front. You know out the gate. And if you choose to get involved, even after I tell you, that's on you. That's on you. And that's the same with R. Kelly. It's not hidden. There's tapes of him. All you have to do is just look at the titles of his albums. Read the titles of his songs. Read the lyrics of his songs. And you know he is a sexual deviant outside of what we know that has been produced via tape. And you still choose to lay down with this dude after all that? Now you want to cry and complain? When you are nothing but a co-conspirator? You were an enabler? And not only black women, but the black community. And I know y'all wonder, wait a minute, man, how can you blame the black community for this? I'm going to explain to you how. Now, y'all remember, and I believe it was 2000, early 2000, when the notorious tape surfaced of him and the girl, and he urinating in the girl, on the girl, and all that. Y'all remember that? And he was brought up on charges for that. Now he was acquitted, but there was charges filed. Now, while he's going through this whole legal fiasco, what does y'all's NAACP do? What did they do? Y'all got to remember this now. See, y'all have short memory, but I tell you, as a social critic, I don't forget this shit. The NAACP, at the very same time that R. Kelly was going through that legal trouble about that tape, the NAACP nominated R. Kelly for an Image Award. Oh, yes, they did. Go look it up. Go look it up. The NAACP, y'all's black organization. Now, let me put a pin there and come back, because I've done videos telling y'all that the NAACP has never been a black organization. There only were two black founders, Du Bois, Ida B. Wells. The rest of them were white. And when I made videos saying that, I had Negroes come back to me and telling me, you don't know what you're talking about. NAACP is a black organization. So, okay, I'm going to side with y'all. It is a black organization. So now explain to me how your black organization gives or nominates for an Image Award R. Kelly, who's on tape, urinating on and in the mouth of young girls. How does your black organization nominate him for an Image Award? Now, to really get all of this, to really put the cherry on top of this sundae, you have to understand what the Image Award is. In the Image Award, and I'm paraphrasing this, you go look it up, you'll find out what the literal criteria is, but one of the criteria for a person receiving the Image Award is an African American who projects a positive image. I'm gonna let that sink in. Like I said, that's a paraphrasing of the criteria, but that's pretty much what they look for when they award these Image Awards. An African American who projects a positive image. Now, R. Kelly is in legal trouble for that tape. At the very same time, your black organization nominates him for this award. Now, keep in mind, now, R. Kelly ain't the only one, because a few years ago, they gave one to Kerry Washington. And they not only nominated Kerry Washington, she actually won hers. Kerry Washington, that's right, the same Kerry Washington of Scandal. The side chick, the booty call, the mistress, the adulterer, that Kerry Washington received from the NAACP an award that highlights the positive image that she projected. Ain't that a bitch? Don't that tell you what they think about you, black woman? But now let's get back to R. Kelly. Because the organization, some of the members of the organization back then, because y'all remember they had that Negro, what was his name? Ekwesi Mfume. I believe he was in Congress, I believe from Baltimore. He was a congressman from Baltimore. Once he left Congress, he became the president of the NAACP. Ekwesi Mfume, one of you African niggas. One of these hoteps. And they got on him because they wanted the organization to rescind the nomination of R. Kelly because of the fact that he was going through this legal trouble with this tape. But the fact that they nominated him anyway is troubling enough. The fact that they would even look at this minstrel, this sexual deviant, and nominate him for an image award, an award awarded to individuals who project a positive image. And they nominate R. Kelly. And like I said recently, I'm not familiar with the year, but recently, within the last 5 years, they nominated and she won Kerry Washington of Scandal. The same difference, different sides of the same coin. This is how much they think about you and your culture. And I'm sure if you look throughout the history, there were some black preachers who won. I'm sure if they were giving it out when Martin Luther Shine was alive, he has one too. Another sexual deviant. And I make videos, and here we are, a week away from Martin Luther King Day. And if I decide to do a video on Martin Luther King and talk about that, what the Negro gonna do, they're gonna disagree with it because they're not gonna buy it. Even though that information is readily available. Readily available by authors and scholars whom the King Foundation has hired to write books about Dr. King. These guys have said he's a deviant. Maybe not in those words, but basically that's what they're saying. He's a sexual deviant. Yes, he has brought home multiple STDs to Coretta while he was out carousing around, talking about civil rights and having dreams. Yes, he did that. Fact. Yes, he had an affinity for light-skinned prostitutes. He loved light-skinned women, i.e., look at Coretta. This is facts. And when Reverend Abernathy, who was King's closest ally, his best boy, that was his ace boom coon. When Abernathy wrote his books and the walls come tumbling down where he exposed all of this about Dr. King, what did black people do? They ostracized that man and told him, oh, how you gonna talk about Dr. King after he's dead? See, y'all don't want to accept the deviancy of this black preacher. But y'all willing to accept the deviancy of R. Kelly and be outraged over that. But the deviancy of the black preacher, oh, y'all don't even want to discuss that. That's the reason why if I do a video next week when Martin Luther King Day come out, you're going to have Negroes in that comment thread refusing to believe that this dude was a sexual deviant, every bit the deviant as R. Kelly. Ain't no difference. And the Negro don't want to believe that because the Negro is going to say, I don't believe the deviancy of the black preacher, but I believe R. Kelly. Oh my goodness, I'm outraged. He needs to be prosecuted. He needs to be brought up on charges. But what about this dude? What about him? What about him? When you had Eddie Long, who had gotten tired of sleeping with the women in his church. They didn't turn him on anymore. He couldn't get aroused from them anymore. They just didn't do it for him. So since he didn't get aroused for the women in his congregation, he started sleeping with their sons. See, it's just like alcohol. I mean, hell, They talk about gateway drugs, drugs that would lead to other drugs if you start taking them. And you start off drinking 2 beers and you getting tipsy and drunk. Pretty soon your body builds up a tolerance. 2 beers don't do it for you no more. Soon you're going to be drinking a 6-pack. That don't do it for you no more. Now you're going to the hard liquor because your body builds up a tolerance for that shit. And it's the same with sex. Once he gets tired of these women and that don't turn him on no more, he's going to go to bigger deviant acts. That's why he started sleeping with their sons. But when that became known, did they kick that dude out of his church? Did they vote him out? Did they run him out of town? No. They went and had a ceremony where they crowned this cat a king. Go look it up. Don't take my words on shit. They gave him a shawl, put a crown on his head, and anointed that homosexual a king. And that was before he passed away. That's y'all. And since y'all do that for the black preacher, how the hell do you want me to take you serious about your outrage over R. Kelly? Are you serious? Are you serious? Rhetorical question. When you running around anointing these dudes, y'all even accept these buffoonish Negroes as pro-blacks. Y'all remember Jamal Bryant? Here's another one that I don't like. Jamal Bryant, I believe out of Baltimore. Now here's a nigga impregnates a young girl in his church. When the young girl has her child and she comes to the church and she announces, well, the pastor is the father of my daughter. Oh, Right Reverend Jamal Bryant say, hell no, I ain't the father of that child. She lying. That's a lie. Because remember now, Jamal Bryant is married. I think at that time, he's actually been divorced and remarried. Don't quote me on that, but I know for a fact he was married at the time. He said, that ain't my kid. She lying. So the young girl said, okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have a test done to determine who the father of this child is. And when that chick said, listen, I'm going to go get a test done because I know the pastor is the father of my child, it was at that time and that time alone that Jamal Bryant called a meeting with his church and stand up and say, you know what? After they looked under the hood, the players under further review, and the referees go under that hood and they looking at every angle of that play, and they come back with the decision after further review. We have determined that the play stands as called. That Shine is the father of that girl's child. Again, did they put Jamal Bryant out? Did y'all vote him out? Did y'all run him out of town? No. Y'all made excuses for him. Nobody's perfect. Why, I only knew one person who was perfect, and he walked on water. Y'all gave this Negro a pass. But now y'all so outraged over R. Kelly. Y'all so upset over R. Kelly. Oh, R. Kelly this. And oh, R. Kelly that. And Jamal Bryant used the same play, the same tactic. Y'all remember Bill Clinton did that same shit. He ran that same play with Monica Lewinsky. Yes, he did. He told y'all, I don't know that hoe. She lying. I ain't touched that bitch. I don't know that bitch. And they came to Bill Clinton. They told him, hey, man, listen, that chick got a dress with somebody's DNA on it. And they're going to have that DNA tested. And when they test that DNA, man, I mean, if you really didn't know her and you, like you said, you ain't never had no contact with her, then fuck it, you in the clear. But if that could be a possibility that that's your DNA, you better clear this shit up. And what did Bill Clinton do? He came out again and said, hey, listen, yuck. Well, maybe I did have an inappropriate contact with her. Oh, no shit. No shit. And again, what did y'all do to Bill Clinton during his impeachment? When they impeached that I almost said Negro. When they impeached Bill Clinton, who was the largest group that supported him? Y'all were. Black folks. Black folks. That's the reason why his crime bill is such a crime. Because the crime bill that had that 3 strikes and out provision that was locking up black men in record number, and Janet Reno, who was Bill Clinton's attorney general at the time, came to him and told him, listen, Mr. President, stop, man. You're locking up the very same group of people who supported you during your scandal. This bill is targeting them. And that's the reason why the prison population for black men and women tripled under 8 years of Bill Clinton. But y'all gave him a pass. Y'all gave his deviancy a pass. But y'all so outraged over R. Kelly. Oh my goodness. Oh, he needs to be prosecuted. Oh, somebody got to get him. And now you have Tarana Burke from the Me Too movement. And this is what I told y'all. I told y'all this. Tarana Burke from the Me Too movement steps on the scene. And she's leading the cause. Going after R. Kelly. Wanting charges to be filed against R. Kelly. Because Tarana Burke wants to take that Me Too movement back from those white liberals. Those white liberals hijacked that movement and they went after their ex-boyfriends and lovers who were wealthy white men. And Tarana Burke wasn't even smart enough to go change the original intent of the organization that I showed y'all in the video where she talked about is for poor black women who are victims of sexual abuse. And again, like I told y'all in the beginning of the video, Bill O'Reilly and them cats, they weren't targeting black women. They weren't targeting poor black women. If you talking about poor black women who are victims of sexual abuse, you got to either be talking about rappers, dope dealers, pastors, pimps, which actually is a double or triple negative because they're all one and the same, but that's a subject for another video. But when she's talking about targeting those men who sexually abuse poor black girls in these hoods, she's talking about you, black man. She's about you. They coming for you. And I warned y'all of that. That's the reason why this R. Kelly piece didn't come as no surprise to me. And he's not going to be the first one. And he's not going to be the last one, rather. There's going to be others. Because they're gearing up to come after you Negroes. And I tried to tell y'all, listen, it's coming down the pipe. Here it comes. You better make sure you got all your ducks in order, and you need to start developing that mindset that if you're gonna deal with them, what did I tell y'all? Put that shit on tape. Get it on tape. I done a whole series in the rabbit hole where I told y'all, film that shit, get that shit on tape. You better get it on tape. You better cover your ass. Because what was consensual today can easily be rape or sexual assault tomorrow, depending on her mood. That's the time we living in. That's the time we living in. And that's the reason why you need to cover your ass. Well, hold on. Let me back up because I need to say that part for the whole. I'm not going to even, you can scratch that from the record. I am surprised I even let that slip out. But we gonna adjust that in the whole. But I told y'all this. I told y'all this was coming. It's coming down the pipe, man. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time before they start targeting these Negroes. And when you hear all these black women who are members of the Me Too or these black women feminists, and they talking about how they want the Me Too movement to get back to its original intent and go back to what it was founded for, what they're saying is, we want the Me Too movement to start targeting Whitey. We don't want them exposing this white man because we want the white man. We want him deemed as a sexual predator or deviant. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? We got to have him because now if we can deem this Negro as a sexual predator or deviant, then that will make it would make good sense for us then to go after Whitey. But now if you got the Hollywood liberals exposing all these white men that we know these black sisters love as deviants, hey, come on now. You know, we can't have that. We got to get this movement back to its original intent, its original purpose, and get them to start going after who they originally wanted to target, and that's this Negro. Target him, but leave that white man alone. And that's the reason why you hear them and you'll see them writing blogs, you'll see them doing videos, you will see them running their mouth, suggesting we want this movement to go back. And that's the reason why the R. Kelly piece, which was an easy target, that's an easy target. Man, come on, man. That's like throwing an alley-oop to Michael Jordan in his heyday. Come on, man. You put it in the area code around the rim, he's going to flush it. That's all you got to do is just put it. You ain't even got to get it right. Just get it right around the rim. Michael Jordan in his prime is going to get it. He's going that's 2 points. So we already know what this is. We already know this is coming down the pipe. We see it. We've read this story. We've seen the movie. We know how it ends. It was easy to target that dude. And all the women who's running around complaining about how they were so hurt and so distraught were nothing but enablers, co-conspirators, and we can't believe shit that come out their mouth. Nothing. Now, this was actually a long video that I did not have planned to do. I didn't want to do it, but y'all forced me to do it. And y'all also are going to force me to address this in the whole. And I'm going to address this R. Kelly piece, and I'm going to, again, tie in the fact that R. Kelly is indeed a black female creation. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And the reason why I say he is a black female creation is because they were the ones who followed him around, threw their panties at him at his concerts, stood in line for hours on end to dance in his music videos, were running around that dude and always being seen, even after the fact. Even after the fact. Even after the notorious urinating video came to light. Even after that, black women were still throwing their panties at him at concerts, standing in line to dance in his videos, still wanting to date him, still were dating him, still dealing with him. So at that point, you become complicit. So you have no recourse now to come back in some shoddy documentary crying crocodile tears. Oh, boo-hoo, woe is me. But let me back up. I'm going to address all that in the whole. You know it is second nature like breathing. You want it, send me email, and I will certainly send you the link. Because at the end of the day,